Hi, today we've got Jay Allen, 2021 outfielder, signed with the University of Florida with us. Going to talk a little recruiting. Appreciate you spending some time with us today, Jay.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
So for those who don't know you, tell me a little bit about yourself and your family.
Um, we're kind of a small family. Mom and dad split up probably like college. So I live in Fort Pierce, Florida with my mom and my two sisters and my granddad, and my dad lives up in Augusta, Georgia with his family. So I visit very frequently. Both are very valuable in my life. So I just grew up playing all three sports, and that's how I've been ever since. So I've just been a big sports guy since just growing up.
Sisters older, younger, you in the middle? Where are they at?
The sisters are younger everywhere. I have a sister on my dad's side and two sisters right that live with me here.
Gotcha. So you're big brother.
Yes, sir.
I gotcha. So tell me a little bit about your measurables. Measurables are always big now with getting coaches to come see you play. As an outfielder, what are some of the key measurables and what kind of numbers do you put up?
Um, the speed is a big measurable. Just being able to track balls in the outfield, being able to get to balls that you shouldn't get to. Just power, bat speed, all that stuff is just extreme measurables that can just go to attach your game and bring it to the next level. So I feel like I'm good at pretty much all those, and expanding on those throughout my career would be big for me.
So tell me about your recruiting process. When did things start? Obviously, with Power Five schools, guys are a little bit ahead of the recruiting curve than most guys. When did things kind of start for you on the baseball side?
Things started probably eighth grade year. Not just talking to me, but talking to my coaches and stuff like that, and just relaying messages for me. So I'd say that's when it started a little bit of like getting college coaches' attention and stuff like that.
What do you think were some of the things that coaches were interested in? Was it some bat speed? Was it measurables, or was it just, hey, this kid could just flat out play? What do you think was getting their attention in the eighth grade?
Um, I think it was just the measurables of how I was gonna I should grow out in the future, and how just a prediction of how it was gonna be. So I was playing well, but I think you could see a little spark and just what I was probably gonna be in the future.
What were some of the first things you did from a recruiting standpoint? Did you send emails to coaches? Did you have some guys calling on your behalf? What were some of the first things that happened?
Um, it was just really just phone calls with a couple of coaches. Obviously they can contact us because we were in a lower grade and stuff like that. But they'd relay the message to whoever was coaching us or wherever they went through, and just tell us to call them. Just small chats on the phone and stuff like that.
So what's that like? You're in the eighth grade and you're having college coaches call you. That's not happening to a lot of eighth grade guys. So what's that like?
Um, I really didn't think too much of it at the time. I just was like, yeah, I'm talking to a couple of schools, but I really didn't think too much of it because I didn't think I'd probably get offered or how fast like it was gonna work and stuff like that. So I was just really just talking about baseball, not thinking too much of it.
You multi-sport guy? Just baseball?
Yes, sir. I play basketball and football as well.
Any scholarships on that side of the house as well?
I got like, about 13 scholarships for football. Just play both.
Awesome, awesome. So what do you think your big break was with Florida? What do you think allowed you to get that offer or have them get interested in you? Was it a camp? Was it a reference that someone made for you?
I believe I'm probably gonna I'll go with a reference just from my coach, and we ended up playing against another coach, and he made the reference as well. So I think about ninth grade going into my sophomore summer, we were in Atlanta, Georgia for the WWBA, and they came to scout me and they offered me after the game.
So what's that like? You're there. The coach come up. They're talking to you after the game and throw an offer out at you from the University of Florida. What are you thinking on the drive back to the hotel or whatever?
I was ecstatic. I was very happy. Just knowing that that me doing all this baseball stuff wasn't for nothing really. So I was just reflecting on everything.
Sure, sure. So what when you were looking for a school, kind of researching, obviously you've got multiple offers on the table. How are you making that decision? What were some of the factors that you looked at that made you select Florida?
Um, just going there since we were so close. We had a lot of tournaments in Gainesville and stuff like that. A lot of weekend tournaments. So we catch a game every now and then, and just seeing that atmosphere and seeing that stuff and just the history of Florida just kind of drew me more to it.
Sure. What was the communication process like with schools? Did it start email? Was it always a phone call? Was a text involved? Did you ever DM schools? How did the communication process work with schools? Because obviously, I mean, like you're young, like I said, coaches aren't able to reach out to you so much at that point in time. But is it mostly phone calls?
Yes, sir. It is. It's pretty much always phone calls. You couldn't really text. You could send stuff, but just like they couldn't reply, so it's really just you reaching out to them.
What's a typical phone call like? Maybe for a younger player. So let's say there's a kid in the seventh or eighth grade, pretty good player, maybe a national player. Can you give some insight into what are coaches talking about on those kind of phone calls?
It's really just things that interest you, not so much like baseball. They don't really talk about the school as much like that because you're so far away from that moment and getting to college. But as a young player, they just try to talk to you about stuff you like, what were you doing, and stuff like that. Like um just how much do you enjoy baseball? Just small conversations.
So are those phone calls like 2 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour? What does it vary with the different coaches you talk to?
Um I don't think I had one that went over probably 10 minutes. Just short phone calls. Sometimes they may extend, but just really short.
What about the frequency? Are you getting calls every day, once a week, once a month? What's the normal process for coaches?
Pretty much just every week. They'll tell you just try to give me a call on Wednesday of every week or stuff like that. Just trying to talk to you as much as possible.
What about recruiting video? Was that a big part of your recruiting process? Did you ever put some video together for coaches, or was it all a lot of them coming to watch you play in tournaments?
It it's probably a lot of just coming to watch and play at tournaments. Just going to different tournaments. Every tournament has their own style of like social media. So just doing good at those tournaments, getting on that social media stuff will put you out and people get to retweeting and stuff like that. So it really just went through social media and kind of them just coming to the game and watching.
What were some of the coaches that were really instrumental in your process? You remember back when was a high school coach, a travel coach? Who were some of the guys that really stood out as you look back?
I'd say probably the first travel ball, second probably second travel ball team I was on. We played a lot. Very just instructional, trying to just get better every day. We normally practice every day, so I'd say that travel ball team, that travel ball like program, just really like helped me.
Sure, sure. So you mentioned travel baseball. How big a role, and this is like for other players to kind of maybe give some advice. How big a role does playing on a quality travel team help in getting recruited?
Um, it's a big part of your baseball career if you want to try to go to the next level. I mean, high school is good with getting you reps and stuff like that. But in the summer, that's where everybody comes out. Everybody wants to see players in the summer. So if you have a coach and a program that really knows like how to get coaches at your game, how to get you out there, then that could be big for you.
Sure, sure. Did you ever use any recruiting services or any help like that that kind of help you understand the process? I mean, there's all kind of NCSA, B recruiters, all kind of places out there. Do you get involved with any of that stuff?
No, sir.
So being young, were you able to get on campus for visits? Did visits play a role in your process?
I never really got to go on campus for a visit. I've been to Florida obviously, but they were like the first school to offer me, and I like took it 2 days right away. So, I really didn't get the chance to just go on visits and go through the whole recruiting process like that.
So you say like when you were just saying that, did you say you like it only took a couple days and you accepted?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So what were it like for those 2 days? You got an offer from Florida sitting out there. What I guess it's pretty easy to pull the trigger on that, but what was going through your head? What was your thought process then?
It was just the offer was just going through my head, just looking back at it, looking at how close it was to home to in-state school. So um just a lot of thinking about family, thinking about my future. Just and I figured that was the best decision for myself, so I didn't end up taking it.
So now you've committed to Florida. You're pretty young at that point in time. What kind of pressure does that put on you, and how does that impact you now? You're going through high school. Starting to play serious travel baseball at higher levels. Talk to me a little bit about that pressure. Hey, I signed early, and now I'm trying to live up to those expectations.
Well, I mean, at first it was kind of tough, just trying not to make a mistake. Just thinking about the whole commitment thing and thinking that I have to be better than what I usually am. But over time, it just kind of went away. I really don't think about it at all, really, because everybody you're playing against is committed, and everybody's basically doing the same thing. So it's really not much to think about. It's baseball, so that's the way the game goes your way sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. So I just really just think about playing now more than just a commitment.
Sure. How's COVID impacted your baseball process? Have you been able to continue to play through the summer and the fall, or what kind of impacts that had?
I really this summer was big for me because I was doing a lot of showcases and stuff like that. Just trying to get out in front of MLB scouts and stuff like that. But COVID probably it didn't mess up like I thought it was. We still got things open. We still got to do things. Even as it was under restriction, of course, just because the whole the whole coronavirus thing. But we got to do everything I really wanted to. So it didn't impact me that much. Just with the high school season, we got canceled and everything.
Sure. So if you've got some good players, some young players, what advice would you have for them as they kind of begin that recruiting process?
Just probably try to find a great program that knows what's best for you and not just doing probably what's best for the program. Just they know how to get guys out there. Showcases is it's not about every showcase that you go to. It's about what kind of showcase it is and what you're trying to work on and what you're trying to get out of it. So you really just don't have to go to everything. Be conservative with what you're doing and just try to work out as much as possible. Try to gain as much as possible and try to just move forward.
Great. Any funny stories along the recruiting trail? I know you're early. Maybe it's a good travel baseball story that you can share publicly.
Um, Thinking back, I really can't think of anything now, just because like so much baseball I played. A million things probably happen. Just
What
stuff
what?
like that.
Go ahead.
I have one actually. So we were. It was in high school. I was in the infield and I didn't have my glove. And one of my friend's dads was the coaches. So I was switching in from infield to outfield. I didn't really make the transfer yet to the outfield, primarily. So I didn't really have my infield glove, so I used my pitchers, like a little pitchers mitt, and it was like 11.25, or probably the shortest glove I've ever seen. So he hits me three ground balls, and I make back errors, and he flips out on me and sends me to the outfield, and he's like, "Yeah, you're never coming back here again." So we joke about it now because he's my friend's dad, so it's so funny. Just
It turned out perfect, right?
yeah, it really did.
Obviously, at your level, you're playing at some major events. What are some of your best memories here during this pre-college years. Any events that stand out that you got an opportunity to play at, that you showed up, that you're like, man, this is pretty cool?
Probably the All American game. I know we didn't really. It wasn't in San Diego, and we didn't get to do everything like that we normally go through. But just being around those guys and being in the hotel with them after the game, after workouts, even during workouts during the home run derby, just sharing laughs, sharing stories and stuff like that. So those are probably one of the most memorable times of my baseball career.
Yeah, baseball opens some doors, man. I mean, that's you're in a select crowd when you're doing those things. So that's good to kind of remember back and be appreciative of those opportunities. Any other games or maybe players you've played against that stand out for you?
Um, just pitchers. Painter, he stood out. Andy Painter, another Florida commit. Carter, Irv Carter was just being around him. He's a fun guy. I love being around him. Chase Petty, one of my close friends, he's going to Florida also. So just guys, normally pitchers, me and pitchers just have just talk a lot, have different relationships. Cause I just try to like pick their brains how they're doing things and how they're going about when they're on the mound because it's totally two different perspectives between me and them. So that's why the guys that I think I've had the closest relationships with.
What do you think about high school? Are we going to get to some high school baseball played here next year? You going to be able to get your senior season in?
Yeah, I as of right now it's going on well. We haven't really had any COVID issues and stuff like that, so I think we'll be able to get it all in.
What plans do you have coming up for the summer before you head off to school?
Probably just working out, probably getting stronger, stuff like that. The draft's coming up, so I'll probably do some workouts and stuff like that with some teams, try to get out there, and that's probably about it.
Excellent. So Jay Allen, 2021 outfielder, signed with the University of Florida. Hey, buddy, I appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.